like to call the Clear Creek Community Services District Board of Directors special meeting to order this evening. I'd like Director Fuss to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, pursuant to Government Code 54-950, persons wishing to address the Board of Directors on matters not listed on the agenda can come to the podium now and share those.
Notify the secretary prior to the start of the meeting.
What secretary?
Well,
They should, they don't have to, and
Yeah.
no one asked, so
No
you
one
can ask them.
I'm not gonna run it quite that way. I think we're all friends here. That's why I'm wearing the mask. Am I smiling? No. Anyways,
Just a
anyone
quick
would like to,
reminder.
would you like to take the podium, please, Mr. McVeigh?
EAGSA Tuesday, 2 p.m., Anderson City Council.
I think
No.
it's
Cancel?
No, change.
Change.
That was what I was gonna talk about.
You know, it would be great if we could just use the podium though, so
Yeah.
we could just roll with this a little bit more, because it leads to good practices.
That's
And we have been, we've been kind of all over the place in the last little over a year. It's been a while. We've been at this for a while, but we're making progress. It's raining, and there was some sun today, so. All right.
But if I can,
Would
I'll
you
just
like to?
mention
Okay.
that the meeting, the EAGSA meeting that was scheduled to be on the 10th at 2 p.m. at Anderson Council Chambers has been changed. It is now going to be on Wednesday, January 19th, which is the same day as our board meeting, at 2 p.m. at the Anderson City Council Chambers. So, put it on your calendar.
And on the agenda, the main point there, they're gonna work on. What is
The
that?
main point of the, and haven't gotten the agenda yet, or haven't downloaded it yet. But the main point is to approve the GSP, the Groundwater Sustainability Plan, to get it to the Department of Water Resources by the end of this month, so that we'll all be legal.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and then there's some other issues that we wanted to talk about, and hopefully I'll talk to Bill a little bit about that between now and our meeting on the 19th, and see what else we can do as a board relative to the projected cost of being a part of this.
Yes.
And what our options would be.
We talked a bit about that last meeting. Okay, so this meeting was called to give our interim manager, Bill Palma Mesa, some latitude and ability to hire persons to support the staff, the office, in a way that will help them to kind of alleviate some of the bottlenecks with respect to processing paperwork in the paperwork, accounting, et cetera, in the near future. So, Bill, if you don't mind me talking about the need here and what your goals are for this.
The main need of the district right now is bookkeeping and accounting. What we've done is, we had a committee meeting last week. We came up with a recommendation that the committee could explain to the board or report to the board. And in short, we cleaned up a couple job descriptions and created some pay scales to go along with them. And along with that was I don't know, whatever you want to call it, an act of kindness on my part to stay in this seat for another 6 months maximum, 4-month financial review, see where we're at, and find a new manager at that point. And what that'll do is the money that we were going to use for general manager, we'll use it for a bookkeeper. And so,
I'm assuming that you received the recommendations.
idea.
Okay.
Thanks for that overview, Bill. Any,
The last three says it perfectly, what should be done.
okay.
I do have a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Just to wrap this up, we did receive and I think all directors here received, perhaps you didn't because it was in email to us, and I don't think you have email, but we did receive a note from Dennis Posine, who comes to these meetings quite often. And he expressed an important point, I think, that should be made, and that we're not really looking for a bookkeeper, although we would like to have someone that knows how to keep books, but we're looking for somebody that has a little more experience with that. He suggests that we expand our horizons a bit, and looking at the job title, it looks like everything's in there, that we're looking for an accountant bookkeeper, not a bookkeeper per se. Bookkeeper lowers, according to him, lowers our horizon a bit. And we should be looking at someone who has the ability to take the books of this special district and to work with them and know how to work with them. So in considering what he's saying, I throw that out to my colleagues here, and I would suggest that for no other reason, that you change the name of the title from bookkeeper to accountant/bookkeeper. And that gives you the ability to at least heighten the importance of that particular job. We need someone in this district that knows how to do things with the books. We're so lucky that Dave has been a part of this, but he's a director here. He's not an employee of the district. He can advise, and he is good at advising and giving good advice. But we need somebody in that position to work day by day by day to get our finances straightened out. It's been that way for a long time. I've been on it for a long time, and I hope that we will be able to bring somebody in that we can trust to do that has the ability to do that. So that's what I'm suggesting we do, is to change it from accountant to bookkeeper to accountant/bookkeeper. And in that regard, with regard to the job description, one of the things I noticed in here, that I overlooked the first time, under essential functions, it's got assist with gathering and distributing financial data and projections for the preparation of the district budget. And then about 6 bullet points on down, it says gathers and distributes financial data and projections for the preparation of the district budget. So might want to scratch the second one there. And also, under administrative assistant, I have a question. And it talks about, under administrative assistant, who the types of physical work that person's gonna do in running machinery. Does that include the folding and inserting machine, or is that a job that's done by somebody else for the bill?
Yeah, I think nowadays anybody could run the doggone folding machine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
I
just
don't
one
think it
of
has
those,
to be in your job description to run.
okay, so that's just a kind of one of those things that say, hey, we got the mailing coming up here, hey, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So along the same lines as Dennis's inquiry, and I think he raised it at the personnel committee meeting, he was asking for a certification level or some educational standard for that accounting position.
Oh, like a requirement?
Yeah. Is there a reason you shied away from requiring a specific certification standard or?
The last few people that were in this position didn't have a certification. Are we looking for a CPA?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
No, we're looking for someone that's,
So which part of Dennis's email doesn't fit this job description? I'm confused.
Well, if I could interrupt, I think you had a problem with the union not wanting the word accountant in it.
Yeah, I haven't got to that part yet.
Okay, so it was changed from accountant to bookkeeper, but the function remains the same, it's just changing the title.
Yeah.
So,
So that's where the change came.
Yeah.
in the title, it's from the union.
Well, in his email, he also says that, and let's see, I'll read it here. It says, there may be a tendency to hire the lowest cost person in light of the financial difficulties. The board needs to do just the opposite, hire the most competent person that applies.
I don't think the board's hiring here, but
Yeah,
forgive me for,
but you get,
Right.
you get the gist of what he's saying.
Well,
yeah, I'm not going with the lowest bidder.
And,
yeah, and I'm sure that.
you know, I appreciate what he's saying there, because I'm concerned that, we don't get the first person that comes along, and I'm sure.
I'm sure Bill is going to.
You know the impact of this, so.
I have confidence in Bill.
Thank you. We've come so far.
Yep,
Yes.
and so do I, by the way. But I wanted to bring this up because he is not here, and he said he may not be here. And I emailed him back and said, I'll bring it up. It's a good idea.
Okay, so having heard that, it sounds like I'd like to ask, what the issue with the accountant title is with respect to the union. And then maybe before we hear from our union rep, maybe you could just share with the public what your hiring strategy might be relative to the accountant position. Just,
You mean how we're gonna advertise it and bring somebody in?
and just what,
interviews and-
just kind of your thinking around, sorting and filtering for hiring the best person for the job. Just-
Yeah, boy, if we can just get through tonight, get these approved and get them on the, on the wire, and we can, ideally, we just find somebody that, well, let's say we stole someone from another water district that just ran their water district
Yeah,
financially.
yeah.
Yeah. But as far as hiring, we're just gonna follow I think we have a policy. We advertise and we interview and we hire. And so we can create a panel, we can even invite Dave. This is gonna be kind of his alley to answer some, ask some questions and provide some input.
Would you be willing to spend time on that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I like that.
I like that.
I do too.
Okay, good. And so I'm in favor of putting the accountant / bookkeeper on the job description, because that does sort of bring to focus the real essential task that they'll be providing. Is there any more discussion at the board before we hear from?
I think, what
Is it Steve? Yeah, Steve?
Yeah, Steve's gonna provide the answer to your question.
Yeah, the question.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh,
He's our,
I'm good changing it back to accountant bookkeeper.
okay.
There's some theory out there that an accountant might be exempt from overtime, be a salary position. And when I'm looking at the job duties, it really looked like a bookkeeper position. I have a bookkeeper in my operation, but if you wanna call it accountant / bookkeeper, I have no problem with that.
okay.
Okay, good.
yeah, it's still a non-exempt position.
That's that.
It says that.
Is that-
I suggested that be in there too.
Yeah, okay,
So that's fine.
Okay.
okay.
Another comment?
Comment, Caitlin Patrick, life scan or background check. I mean, you're dealing with finances for a potentially multi-million-dollar company, I have to get fingerprinted and life scan before I got my job in the state, so.
You bring up an interesting point.
Currently, that's not the policy.
Beverly Pickens. The bookkeeping job has just 30 words per minute, administrative assistant 50. So I don't know what you guys ended up discussing with that or what the answer was for the words per minute for typing. So 30 is still kind of low. The other thing that I disagree with accountant / bookkeeper is that when you look at your MOU, and I didn't bring it with me tonight, but you have a list of job descriptions on there, and one is accountant, and the accountant makes more money than either a bookkeeper or administrative assistant position. So if you're gonna do / bookkeeper accountant, to me, they should be making more money, because an accountant is a whole to me, in my mind, a whole different, category.
So,
They are?
Bill, with respect to if it was a standalone account, what were you thinking relative to having those? They read as though they're a bit of a blend, and it looks like these two will be working very closely together to push the finances forward on a month-to-month basis. What was your strategy there in terms of not creating an accountant position exclusive?
I guess I'm a little confused. There's a list of things that need to be done, and that's gonna be their job.
Yeah.
So I'm confused what you're asking me.
Okay, well, I guess it was to try to get at Beverly's concern about having accountant blended into the title of the job description and somehow confusing the MOU and who's on, I guess, relative to that. But I suppose if the union's okay with that description, I don't know that we need to chase that to ground.
Yeah, it leaves it out specifically in there what the job description is.
Yeah, I don't have any angst over it. I think we're okay, having heard this discussion during the personnel committee hearing, and reading the job description, and hearing Bill's desire to hire the best available candidate. I'm good with both job descriptions.
I have a little bit of a concern here in that if the MOU has accountant and bookkeeper as separate entities with separate pay scales, then where does this fall out?
There isn't a bookkeeper in the current
Oh, okay.
MOU.
Okay, all right, so we're just tacking bookkeeper behind accountant.
Backing up, the admin assistant position has been around since the beginning of the district. And at some point, there were some duties the admin assistant was doing way back when. Currently, the accountant was doing, or bookkeeper, whatever we're calling it. So we cleaned them up, we separated, so it wasn't confusing. We put the stuff more focused towards finances on the bookkeeper / accountant, and the more stuff focused towards other things like administration on the administrative assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So we made a nice little separation there. That's all we did.
And the union's good with all that, so
So
that's
far.
what I can keep circling back to relative to where we're at. And understanding that the personnel committee, when we get our 5th board member, will be redressing the MOU, and I would presume one of those tasks in those personnel committee meetings would be to harmonize current job descriptions with a revised MOU. So, I mean, it seemed like there was an appetite for that amongst the rest of that list of items that were raised that the personnel committee was going to challenge themselves with. Is that you all's understanding of that? Is that how you? Yeah. So on that account, I'm again okay with the direction we're headed relative to the MOU and the job title description. I mean, it's the job description is very explicit. Beginning with this is a non-exempt position, salary within range 25 to 32 an hour. I mean, titles aside and the MOU aside, I don't think that with the support of the union, we're gonna have an issue where we're gonna have an action by the union or the personnel of the district saying, wow, we're being misused here with this job description and pay range, etc. And certainly a new hire would be willingly going into that, accepting that job position as described. So it's not like you're assigning someone to that job and saying, well, they'd still be accepting it though, under their own cognizance.
Permission to speak?
Certainly.
Just to add a little bit more, so the union isn't a separate entity that has a separate opinion. We work at the direction of our members here, and so when this came up, I got direction from the members, and the direction was work as quickly and as cooperatively as possible to get more staff here to help everybody out.
Correct.
And so when Bill gave us those draft job classes and the pay rates, we didn't do a separate analysis of that for appropriateness or job duties. We took the district managers, acting managers' direction and said, this is what I need. This is what we need to operate this place. And I ran it by the members, and they're like, yeah, that looks reasonable. So that's all we did with it. So we're just trying to help,
Right.
expedite getting things fixed around here. So when you say, the union's opinion, it was really, we're just following the lead on this one. Now, there may come a day where we might have a difference of opinion about something, but it's not on this stuff. So if you want to call the title something different, we're all good with that.
Okay, those are good points, and thank you for
Yeah,
that.
and at some point, by the union agreeing, and that is an email from me to Bill saying, we agree to the latest job description he gave us, right? And then the board approving, then we've implemented something that at some point, when we clean up the MOU, we'll put the updated stuff in the MOU. I don't think we have to do that at the moment.
Right.
It's kind of like an addition to it right now, but we'll put it all in one document at some point, when the parties get around to doing that.
Okay.
So we're totally good with what you guys are doing.
And that explanation's helpful, that flow.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's no
Cooperation.
fighting over this stuff.
Yeah,
If
okay.
there is something significant, like, we want the bookkeeper to really be a CPA, and we're gonna have them be an exempt salary person, I would probably say, wait a minute, those duties there, because I have a bookkeeper, really bookkeeping duties, call it an accountant if you wanna try and attract somebody that is higher qualified, that's fine. But I don't want them to be exempt from overtime, I don't want them to be worked to death.
No, they're not.
What is that, help me with that a little bit more. I know, lots of people that are salary out there
Yeah,
and are happy to be working salary.
Sure.
Is there a
happy to have a job.
philosophy there that you share with me, just so I can?
So what I look at when I have a question about, is a job exempt from overtime salary or non-exempt, gets overtime? It's a legal question under federal Department of Labor rules. So you can Google it, which I did, but I also have a lawyer down in Sacramento that we pay a big retainer to give me advice on stuff like that. And apparently the line between salary and non-exempt could be like a CPA type accountant versus a bookkeeper. So it looked to me that this was a hourly bookkeeper type of a job rather than like a CPA salary type of a job. And that was the only reason I suggested to Bill, because his first draft said accountant / bookkeeper. I said, maybe we should take that off. He was okay with that. But if you guys want to put it back on, we're good with that too. Because it doesn't change the duties themselves.
The purpose of this meeting was to get these things approved by the board so that Bill could go to work, so.
Correct.
And you had said that you needed to review it independently. Can we just, if we're at a point, is it just become, you agree to it and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just have to send
So
an email?
we've already agreed to the most recent draft you guys have. And
Uh-huh.
I think the answer to the words per minute for both in the draft I saw was 35 for each of them.
I just looked online, it's 30.
30, was it 30 or 35? I might have misspoke.
Well, if we don't get a candidate that does
Bill's looking.
better than 30, and really as an accountant, you're gonna wanna do the, whatever,
10
10 key, help me out there.
Yeah,
10 key, the
10
10
key.
key is the key there.
Okay, so the most, I'm sorry, it's 30 for both of them. We're good with that too, 30, 35, 50, it's whatever you guys think is appropriate, we're gonna say okay to. So we agreed to that draft. Now you're suggesting a last minute change, but instead of going back and having a union meeting over something as
Yeah.
little as a word on the title, I'm just going out on a limb and saying, we agree to that too. And the members will be fine with that. I talked to Chad real quick. We're okay with that last change. Labor negotiation stuff can get really slow if you do back and forth and have to have union meetings all the time. We would do that if it was an important change, but just the title's not that significant. so I'm saying we agree to that too.
Okay.
And I can send Bill an email so we have a documentation to that effect. So thank you. We good? You guys have any other questions for me? I just came here to support what the board and your manager are trying to do here. Because the employees support it. The employees support it, therefore I support it. That's how it works for us.
Thanks for coming to the meeting.
I'm like a mirror of whatever the members want.
Any other discussion from board members?
Just the one thing, I think, the issue of background check came up, and I think that's a very important issue, and I think that ought to be in the mix somehow. That whoever is, somewhat chosen ought to go through a background check, that's a very important issue.
Okay,
Would the board agree with that?
I would agree with that, yeah, we can, I think. Bill, would you agree to?
Yeah, that's
make that
fine,
happen?
when we get to that point, but we can, it's just not in our hiring policy, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So we can dig that up and address it as soon as possible.
Yeah,
That's something that the general manager would do.
yeah,
Change the policy or?
no,
For wants a background check, do a background check.
Okay.
I agree.
for the sake of, where the district's been relative to accounting and the challenges we've had with books, it just makes sense, I think. Okay, cool. All right, so that is gonna be included. Anything else from the board members?
Just one thing, at the, committee, standing committee meeting, I suggested that we send, since we're gonna put this off for 6 months, I suggested we send letters to those people who have, applied for the general manager's job, and tell them that we're going to put this off for a little while, and if they decide to pull their application, they can do that, or they can leave it in. And I would put that in as one of the things, like item number 4 in the recommendation.
Okay, so you'd like to add an item number 4 to the recommendation?
Yeah, or we don't even have to do it that way. It just could be a consensus of the board that the general manager would send the letters.
The general managers send the letters to the applicants for the general manager position.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't think that should come from the personnel committee?
Yeah.
I'll change it to make it interim general manager. How's that?
Okay, that sounds better.
I think, I would agree with Bill, if,
Yeah, I agree.
could some, I mean, I could draft something up and send it as well.
That would be good, that would be better.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
from the board.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Thanks for
I
that
mean,
reminder, I remember you mentioning that at the personnel committee meeting.
so are we changing the name?
On the bookkeeper, we are going to change the name to accountant/bookkeeper. And leave the administrative assistant the same, and I would suggest looking quickly at the other item that, on bullet number 4. Is it 4? It's more than 4, it's way down there. It's a bunch of bullets down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th bullet I would strike, because,
Is this the bookkeeper, accountant bookkeeper?
yes,
It's duplicated.
it's duplicated further down,
Oh, yeah,
the
right.
6 or 7
Yeah,
bullets down, it's the same, so
there we go,
just,
just scratch it.
did you catch, not that the applicant, it just means they have to do it twice, you know what I mean? If you gather it, you're gonna have to gather it again, to just fulfill your duties.
Right.
2 copies.
Just don't charge us. Okay, any other discussion from the board? Can I have a motion?
I would move that we accept the 3 recommendations from our interim general manager as we discussed tonight.
Mhm. I'll second.
Very good. Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, good. And I'll send a letter. public comment before we adjourn? Anyone wanna address the?
Well, I have,
Oh, well, some announcements.
yeah.
That's right.
Usually in February, the Happy Valley Friday cleans up the roadsides. So if God gives us a beautiful day, we always try to do it on the first Saturday of the month. And
Which
if
month?
it's February, and if it should rain, then we always follow. And we meet at the community center at 8 o'clock in the morning. We try to have coffee and donuts. Give you safety bags to pick up the trash with. We used to have the clippers, but they help you, but they've all disappeared, so. We used to have, we do have some safety vests. I think there's still some there. We've given a lot out. So if you can come and help us, many hands make light work. And is anybody going to have people that are running for supervisor to come out to the valley and talk to us? I think February the 1st, is that the election day?
That's the election. Yeah, that's election day.
That's election day. Okay. I was just curious, because I don't know any of these gentlemen, or, yeah, yes.
Even though we're changing to District 5, I believe Tim Garman has the community center all day Saturday.
Who does?
Garman,
Oh,
I think he's rented it for all day Saturday.
okay. To present
Like
it
January,
next month? I mean,
This coming Saturday.
oh, this coming Saturday. Okay.
Right, because the mail-in ballots are already out. I mailed
Yeah.
mine back in already.
Yeah.
So that's all I know about as far as.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay, that's all I have.
And when you already made your announcement about the
Yeah.
groundwater.
EAGSA.
Yep, okay, very good.
19.
With that, I adjourn the meeting. Liberty Community
Good night.
Service District